Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Get away from me. Hi all, welcome back. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with Aspergers Syndrome, OCD and the like, along with tips and advice along the way, be it general health versus your mental health. What was all that about, you may be questioning? I'm going to be talking about some of the mental health theories as well that I had promised to try and get on the bandwagon, to try and, get all that out of the way. Even though now, since we're way past mental health and awareness week, I was hoping to bring out some videos for you guys, which I humbly apologize in advance, which hopefully in the next few weeks of what I was going to address, especially for maybe mental health and men especially, that needs to be addressed, whatever it may be. So this one was all about avoidant personality disorder, and obviously some of this is obviously going to be based on relevance to maybe what I have experienced in some form of disorders or what have you, that will come into play. Some may not, but before I begin, this is a word of disclaimer. If you see any warning signs and symptoms basically from the past or present videos that are representing mental health and all that, please seek professional help for yourself or your loved one, or seek second opinion for yourself or your loved one, because obviously I'm no professional doctor. So, and also another full heads up, I don't forever condone self-harm, because I want you guys to feel safe, happy and carefree. So you may be wondering what avoidant personality disorder is. It's just that, or what it reads. Obviously we tend to avoid everyday situations, basically with these interpersonal situations in which we need to socialize in social gatherings, be it in a party for example, or one amongst our group of friends basically, and they're talking about it, or some form of experiences that we just want to try to avoid altogether, whatever it may be it socializing or just doing everyday things that it involves us just to do that socialization criteria. Sometimes in the way of this also, and saying this, of what it sounds like, of avoiding people or situations that we come and face, it could be for the fact of maybe a key example or a right prime example that does come to light is for fear of maybe what people may think of us or say about us basically, or maybe a fear of others maybe that we don't know of that may not like us for who and what we are, even though then sometimes for some of us, for that fear, it cripples us to the point that, okay, we end up staying at home, we miss out on functions, parties, or whatever invites that our friend sends out to. Sometimes it could be, despite that crippling fear and that negativity, or not such thing, no, not just negativity as such, but the self-doubt that we put upon ourselves about, would people like us for who and what we are. And sometimes for some of us, when we tend to avoid people, sometimes some of us, not all of us, may tend to push ourselves through it, and actually put a brave face on, or make out that who and what we are by just pretending that we're not who and what we are in the first place, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does to you guys. Maybe it is another thing for this avoidant personality disorder. For some of us, we may tend to just maybe, I don't know, have a fear of embarrassment, of embarrassing ourselves in public, of what we may say or do, or how we act around people. And then it comes across that people may make fun of us, point at us, stare at us, what have you, and then we just become really super sensitive or hypersensitive to what they may think or say about us, and then and all hell breaks loose. So in the DSM-5 manual that basically has just been introduced in the year of 2000, if I can get the right date in here, or year, when it was published, I think it was 2015-16, not longer. It's a real new manual that obviously has been updated pretty much for us people, or so we say people in general, especially the specialists, to actually clinically diagnose, because now some of the diagnosis that they give us out of the mental health versus our general health, regardless what it may be, they tend to just go by that book. But in that manual for this particular disorder, that they have explained it as a pervasive pattern of social inhibition, feelings of inadequacy, and hypersensitivity to some negative evaluation. This will begin in the likelihood of early adulthood, however, and then will present itself in a variety of contexts, even though there are, obviously from what I can recall from it all, 7 types of contexts that will be covered, but you need to be at least rated in the 4 or more of these contexts that they have listed or clarified under this disorder. But please, 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 if you are forever concerned once you hear some of these that I'm reading out of these criteria or signs and symptoms or what have you, please seek professional help or a second opinion, because as I said before, I'm no medical doctor, or if you see any of these warning signs and symptoms, just do seek professional help and or advice, basically from a psychologist or psychiatrist or someone that's trained in this professional field. I just want to say that, and I can't stress it enough. Okay, because their job, obviously, they can assess you properly to make sure we're not, obviously, that we're not self-diagnosing or self-assuming in ourselves, thinking, okay, this is what we've got, or I've got, and does that correlate? Because obviously certain disorders do tend to, you know, intertwine, as I said in one of my videos earlier in the piece. So let's go into these contexts that I'm on about and follow along. First context that it reads under the DSM-5 manual of this AVP is avoiding occupational activities that involve significant interpersonal contact. Hey, because of fear of criticism or disapproval, or even just fear of rejection. The second criteria is unwilling to get involved with people unless they are certain that of being liked by their peers, i.e., for instance, a classic example, as I said before, meeting new people, obviously trying to socialize in a large group, in a party, and hearsay maybe can be fearful and intimidating for some people. Maybe going out with your friends, hearsay, you know, after work, and then, you know, one of your besties, like, you know, hey, let's introduce you to some of my other friends so that you can, you know, socialize with us, you know, maybe afterwards. And then you're in a social surrounding of a pub or something after work, and then all of a quick sudden in your mind is racing, your heart's beating fast, and all these minor, you know, thoughts racing through your mind, thinking, I want to get out of here, this is not me, you know, why am I here? Eek. They may not like me, so you just make an excuse. Maybe, you know, when all this conflict is going on, you know, with all your body systems doing things at the same time, it's like, do I really want to meet this person? Really, will they really like me? Oh no, you know, he say, I don't want to go. I want to stay at home because it's my safe haven. Obviously, you're thinking in your mindset when they ask you, or you take on the time that you're tired or sick. So therefore, basically, you know, you may fake your illness, you know, saying to them, oh, I'm too sick to go out anywhere, maybe just to avoid that social contact and social communication and interaction with your peers. Number 3, shows restraint in an intimate relationship because of them being fearful of being shamed out, or, you know, and being ridiculed. People tend to push others away, and it's easier for them to reject others and to stay out of certain relationships, maybe because it will be more harmful to us that we feel to end up leaving us or saying something hurtful to take us on, you know, because at the end of the day, obviously, in this number 3 criteria for that example is what I'm trying to suggest to you all, is that, you know, when it comes to relationships, sometimes these relationships can be hard for some of us, you know, be it if we've got a mental health disorder or some form of disorder anyway, even though I don't like using that word, but bear with me, guys. What I'm trying to address here is that in saying this, like, especially when it comes down to relationships, especially for people in this kind of disorder, that, as I said, they tend to push people away. They don't mean to, it's just, like I said, it's a fear of getting close maybe, and they may have been hurt before and burned, and like they say, once bitten, twice shy sort of category, and they tend to maybe have a sense of lack of trust in people and a sense of where can they go and whatnot, you know. At the end of the day, I believe that regardless of it all, sometimes it's up to us how we go about, you know, trusting people in that, but in the grand scheme of things, everyone's different how they go about it. But anyhow, Number 4 of these criteria is preoccupied with being criticized or rejected by their peers in social situations. For example, many of us may ruminate all the time about, those thought patterns of what I just clearly suggest to you all, in a way of, oh no, what are they going to think of me? Are they going to laugh at me and how I think, say, and act, or what have you? Then basically it comes to the point we worry to a point. Basically, for a classic example, we come to the counter at a supermarket or somewhere where we're being served, when we might, and then sometimes at that counter we may know someone that might see us. Then we have to talk ourselves out of it. I'll be talking more about, hopefully, autism and ruminating later on in the piece, hopefully, as well, because like for many of us, Aspies, me included, I'm bad for that. I ruminate and I tend to self-absorb everything around me. As I said before, I call it shape-shifting, trying to adapt to our surroundings. Some people will call it a chameleon style thing, how the feature of the chameleons, they tend to camouflage in these places. Some will call it that, but more in the piece later, Aspergers and ruminating. Let me know by liking or commenting below if you want to know more about what I'm on about, because it's all about my life experience with it, as well as maybe some aspects that more probably agree with me. But as I said before, in this section, criteria number 4, when it comes down to us trying to avoid that very situation, many of us would tend to try and put a brave face on and try and push ourselves to go out of the house, even though we don't want to go out of the house in the first place. And sometimes with these type of people that are those ones that wants to stay at home majority of the time, they tend to also basically won't advance more into their careers. So therefore, whatever career path that they've chosen, basically they won't want to go there. And then sometimes got to bear in mind when in that advancement, many of their friends will be ahead of them, in their careers and their lifestyle change of whatever's going on. Some may have boyfriends and girlfriends, some may be married, some may be divorced, some may, be doing their own thing by, traveling around the world for some people. And then those people that are missing out of this person that's suffering from this disorder or going through with this disorder might, feel a bit of an edge, thinking, to themselves, I could be wrong. Why didn't I go further in life? But anyway, number 5 is inhibited in new interpersonal situations because of feeling inadequate, or we don't measure up in the expectations of others, even though many people have high expectations of everybody about what they want to look like, or some girls and guys may have some expectations about what they're looking for in a relationship, if they were in a relationship per se, or just a typical friendship, or just certain people also, which I find really annoying in some ways, because we shouldn't have huge expectations. We should just be able to accept who and what we are, as well as others around us. Most of this will overlap with the eating disorders and self-harm, as well as any of us having any body image issues for this criteria number 5. Criteria number 6 reveals in the manual, views self as socially inept, personally unappealing, or inferior to others. Ties in, like what I said about the body image issues that have, and then the negative self-talk that comes into play, the voices inside our heads that creates the self-doubts and that creates, chaos, sort of thing, confusion and whatnot. And then some of those, negative self-talk or what have you that's going on inside our head, of those little secret quiet voices in our head, don't do this, or if we were in that body image issue, don't eat this or else you get fat, don't eat too much of this because this is not worth it, whatever it may be. And then sometimes, with these little voices inside our heads, the other type of ones that puts us down sometimes, even if we choose to allow those voices inside our heads, can lead to further problems along the way, which, they call it psychosis, which I haven't clearly addressed that mental health issue yet. If you want me to address that, smash that like button again and comment below. Criteria number 7, the last one, is unusually reluctant to take personal risks or engage on any new activities that is around them. may prove to be embarrassing or fearful. It could be anything in that criteria sort of thing. Just to end this, just with this disorder or many other disorders, you know, some of it can be daunting, scary for some of us or what have you. It can be really difficult, and it can just really cause a real uptake of havoc sort of thing. While having some of these mental health disorders, it can isolate us, obviously, or do isolate us, and becomes debilitating to the point that we don't want to, you know, connect with the outside world or what have you. We just want to be in our little social bubble on our own and whatnot. But then again, we shouldn't be like that, because we know that it's important to try and, you know, interact with our peers and whatnot and make a connection with someone. Also, in saying this, to end this, we need maybe seeing a therapist or doing group therapy or something that will actually help us along the way could be good. So enough for the do, guys. Basically, that ends the quick overview of avoidant personality disorder. Give me likes or thumbs up for support. Comment below. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends. If you've joined me on my journey so far, I thank you for joining me right now, and hopefully some of the stuff that I'm actually doing right now, be it whatever it may be it mental health versus everything else that I'm sharing on my channel right now, will hopefully be of use to you. And if it has, please let me know by either commenting below or commenting by PMing me through my social media of Facebook, AspieAnswers. If you have any suggestions that is health and awareness related or what have you, just let me know, basically, and hopefully I can try and put into practice for this for you guys as well. And all further ado, basically, if you haven't done so and you would like to join me on my journey, feel free to subscribe to my channel on the bottom right hand screen, and while you're down there, turn on the notification bell so that you can keep up to date with new content that I post. You know, I used to post on the daily, but I've been shortening it down to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But it may shorten again, time permitting, obviously, even though I was hoping to do this month, especially of November, like the November or whatever they call it style kind of videos that you bring out one video each day of the week leading up to the end of the, you know, month. But it didn't work out to plan for what I want to do. So enough for the do, guys. Basically, thanks for the support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao.